recruitment though, isn't it, in football? All about recruitment, you've got to get your recruitment right. If any man got his recruitment right, it was the gaffer, it was Howard Wilkinson. So that ends, we're going to bring on three guys who had the pleasure of playing for our wonderful club. Please make them feel very, very, very welcome. The wonderful Gary McAllister, Tony Dorigo, and Noel Whelan. Gentlemen, it's a bit awkward. We've got to stand in one particular place, otherwise the mind just goes off. I realise that now. Let's put you in first, Noel, because obviously you spent your life here. You basically on trial at other clubs, but you hung on until mighty Leeds United, your boyhood club, came in for you, and of course, Howard was the gaffer.
Yeah, it was a strange one because we're right here. Leeds City boys. I was there for 5 years.
Yeah, he's down there great way.
That way. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so for me, I was there for 5 years. And through that time, top scorer. Leeds were in Division 2 at the time, and I was going across to other clubs who were scouting me. They signed quite a few of the players from Leeds City boys to Leeds United. But never been approached. So I was going to Everton, went there 2-3 times, I went to Arsenal, and believe it or not, I actually went to Manchester United. That's the key for the poo. But Everton, I kept going back to, and they were going to sign me, but they wanted to keep me there for my last year of school. I said to my dad, I said, look, why Leeds United not come in? I said, I'm absolutely desperate to sign for Leeds for my home club. And one day he just pulled up the scout, said, why don't you ask him? Said, didn't think he'd sign because he was going to Arsenal, Man United and Everton. I was like, absolutely not. Actually signed on the pitch before a game with the gaffer, couldn't have been any happier. And that was the start of my Leeds United career. Schoolboys, then on to the YTS, where we had Dick Baker was my first manager, Paul Hart was my second, but you know, everything came through the gaffer. You know, the way we played, the way we trained, and with the players that we have here today, Gary and Tony and the rest of the team, we couldn't have had a better team to look up to, and also people to help us. Gaffer definitely kept me on the toes, I know that. I don't know how many times I've cleaned his legs, but it was more than twice a week. And I remember one game, I think I scored a double hat-trick. We got and played Northern Intermediate, scored 6, won 6-0. And I was like walking down the corridor, I'm thinking, the gaffer's got to say well done to me now. But I think Paul Hart had obviously gone in beforehand. He said, you should have had 8. I was like, and you know what? It keeps you thinking, it keeps you working, and it keeps you hungry. And I couldn't have asked for a better manager to take me through, to give me my debut and a team to play for, and play along these side guys as well. So.
Noel Whelan, ladies and gentlemen, Noel Whelan. As I said before, recruitment in football is key. Gary McAllister, we were together yesterday in Liverpool. We actually spoke about this story then in foreign territory, shall we say, with another flip of the coin on it. However, you came in from Leicester City, and you were saying to me yesterday, you felt wanted by Leeds United. You felt wanted by the gaffer in '91.
Yeah, I think prior to signing for Leeds United, I'd spoke to Brian Clough and Nottingham Forest the night before, where the meeting didn't go very well. And obviously, when I told Brian Clough that I was coming to speak to Leeds United, you know, he swiftly left the room. So Mr. Clough and Leeds United obviously don't go on. But arriving here for talks, the thing that really impressed me obviously was walking into the room, you know, Leslie Silver, the chairman, the chief executive, Bill Follerby, and then the gaffer, Howard. They made it pretty clear that they wanted to get me to Elland Road. I'd scored a few goals for Leicester City against Leeds United over the seasons prior, but it was made pretty clear that the club wanted to get me there. The club had done an amazing job to get to the old second division and get back to the top division. You know, some experienced players, Kamara and Vinnie Jones had done an amazing job. But the manager felt there had to be a little change of style, a little change of direction, and maybe I got to bring that to the club. So maybe another pass in the build-up, you know, where we maybe look to go forward a little bit quicker. I think myself arriving, it just changed things a little bit as we were moving up back into the top division. The thing that really impressed me over the years of working under Howard, I think people it always annoys me a little bit, the sort of praise that Arsene Wenger comes about this nutrition and sports science and all the new technologies. When I first arrived here, put straight on to a weight program, up to see Leeds University to see how I could build muscle, what to eat, you know, Monday through Friday, and what to eat and what times of the day and what times of the prior to games. So all the nonsense of people, you know, the game's based around all these analytics now. But some guys are going to get the credit because they were the first to do it, you know, and that's the thing that impressed me. So we were talking about it earlier, the vision of Howard is there for everybody to see. You know, what he did for, you know, St George's, you know, Thorpe Arch, you know, like a new stand was built here as well. But the thing is, the main thing about Leeds United for me is, it's a fantastic club with a great history, but it's about winning. You've got to win. They've had a great season last season, and the manager Daniel did an amazing job. But winning the league, you know, the last old First Division was very special, and there was some scary moments, you know, getting into the last 10 games or whatever. We had a couple of bad results, but the gaffer remained very calm. So there was never any highs or battering players because they hadn't played well. He just said, let's just keep going, let's see what happens, let's see what happens to the team across the penny. And they collapsed, and we pounced on it. But we were, for me anyway, we were deserving champions. So, and all credit to the gaffer.
Absolutely right.
Wow, Mr. McAllister, thank you, Gary. I want to think about, ladies and gentlemen, what these guys achieved and how it achieved. Going up, finishing 4th in the first season. Imagine that now, coming out of this league, the championship we've just done. Imagine us finishing 4th next season. It won't happen. God bless us, it won't happen. It'd be nice if it did. But then to go on and win the title the next season is absolutely incredible. And I mentioned before about recruitment. Tony, you came in then as well. You came from Chelsea. You can boo that if you like. Thank you. But what made the gaffer sell Leeds United to you, Tony, and what was it like to play for him?
Coming from Chelsea, clearly I came to my senses. I had Mr. Bates at Chelsea, so anything after that was going to be a good thing. And I think, like Gary said, that I just was made to feel really wanted. Howard rang me up and said, right, you know, we'd like to sign you. I said, well, I'm going away with England on a tour. When I come back, I'm going to talk to a few clubs and then I'll make my decision. He said, you're not really listening to me. You can come up now because we want to sign you. I said, no, I am going away. Basically, he wouldn't say no. I had to come up to stop the guy ringing me all the time. But you know what? It's nice for a player to be wanted, but it's also nice to come to a place that has a clear plan. He had a vision. He had a way he wanted the team to play. He explained how we were going to improve the side, the type of players that we needed. He explained how I could improve. You put all that together and you've got, I suppose, a great feeling that you're coming to a club that's really going places. They finished 4th the previous year, and so I couldn't wait to get started. So I signed there and then. And Gary was right as well in that a lot of the stuff that we did under the gaffer was innovative. There was so many things that we were the first to do. I think everyone knows about the legacy with regard to the England setup and the planning that Howard does. But even on the training ground, there was some interesting sessions we did. However, there was one particular session which he never actually repeated ever again, because it was won with an imaginary ball. Here in my hand is an imaginary ball, and I'm going to roll it to you, Mel, at right back, and I want you then to pass it around the team. And wherever that ball goes, everyone has to move in relation to the ball. What the flippin' hell's going on here? It gets rolled to Mel, and we're waiting. He controls it. There is no ball. He passes it to Chris White, who controls it. There is no It comes to me, I pass it to Gary Speed, he controls it, and he passes it to David Batty, who flicks it up, knee, shoulder, and friggin' boots it onto the other pitch. And I think he started following the ball, as well, I can get my ball back. I tell you what, putting together something like that and the team that we had, and planning and building, is really special. Not only do you need to have someone with that vision, but you need to have the right characters. And the most important character is the one that leads. And that's that man there. He was fantastic.
This is Tony Dorigo. Love it. What memories. Guys, we've got the Revie boys, now we've got the Wilko boys, which is great, and that's where we're going to go ahead with that one. No, obviously 1993 was a great year for you and for Leeds United. The FA final, which obviously we beat that lot. That's special memories for you as well, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably my first.
Very good. Yeah. My first experience of playing, as if I was in the first team, and no one gave us a prayer of winning either leg. We've gone all the way through to semi-final, a tough game against Norwich. We get through, and all we can hear is Sky Sports saying, right, we're going to be covering this one. First time ever, Sky Sports, go to Old Trafford. All you can hear leading up to that is about Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, Keith Gillespie, Robbie Savage, David Beckham, two Nevilles. No one even giving us a prayer, it's just the fact that we were going to turn up, but they'd never come across a team like us before. They've gone through their side up to the final. We've actually demolished teams long hours, but we weren't just a pretty team. We could play, but a bit like Howard wanted his teams, we had to follow suit along with the first team. Very good technical players, but we had to be fitter, we had to be stronger, we had to be more aggressive, and that's exactly what we did on those two legs. The first leg I scored away from home. I think I set one up and I set two here, and the other kid from Jamie Forrester. I think that just left them there. I think one day, I looked over at Paul Hart, and he was trying to give me some information. I've turned around and looked at the pitch. There's about 3 Man United players there reeling in pain, which goes to show what we were all about. That was the first part for me. The second part after that, which I was still YTS for my debut away at Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was the 4th of May. Winning up to the last minute, I think the ball came over, John Lukic went to collect it, dropped it, and David Hurst had tapped it in. But for me to have gone through my YTS, being held massively by the gaffer, I've got to say, when Paul Hart, they put the trust in me, they worked me a little bit harder at times. Fitness was never an issue for me. And then obviously I went and played for England's European champions and won that season as well. The only downside was that I had to leave. Leeds very shortly, I think I had 2-3 seasons in the first team. Went to Coventry, obviously, with Gordon. And at that time, I think we had to pay for the East End. So it was one of those, but I went on, had 10 years in the Premier League. Started with the gaffer. It all started with his discipline, his pushing, his help, his guidance, and I'm very grateful.
Wow. Great stuff, man. Great stuff, man. Gaz, obviously, 92 is what we're here for. That's what the celebration of the gaffer is. The fact that we won the title, get our hands on the title. Obviously, at the time, Gordon was captain. You went on to captain the club until 96 as well, which is wonderful. But tell us a little bit about that day after the Sheffield United game.
I don't know, you must be aware of the respect between Howard and Sir Alex Ferguson. They're both great competitors, massive rivalry between the two clubs. But my outstanding memory of the day, the weekend before the last game of the season, was obviously when we went to Bramall Lane, the Yorkshire Derby, and obviously that was a 12 o'clock kick-off. And if we won at Bramall Lane, it then meant that Manchester United had to go to Anfield and win by 2 goals. So we go to Bramall Lane, we win the game pretty comfortably. It was a horrible day, it was horrible wind in the stadium that day. But we managed to get the 3 points. So I'm setting the scene. A lot of you guys will remember, well I hope you remember, because I remember it vividly. So we chose to go back to Lee Chapman's house to watch Manchester United play Anfield. So we're in Chappie's living room, and there was Bats, Speedo, Strack, Chappie, Eric Cantona and myself. And I had done a little bit of work with the TV before, so I was hooked up to the studio at Anfield, and it was ITV at the time, it wasn't Sky. And the presenters were Dennis Law and Ian St John. So obviously Liverpool are not going to do Manchester United any favours, so Liverpool win the game easily 2-0, and we're champions. So then in my ear, I could hear the producer saying, get a camera to the tunnel, get a camera to the tunnel, we've got Fergie, get a camera there. Then obviously, 5 seconds later on Chappie's TV, Fergie comes on the screen. And Fergie goes, I want to make it clear, they haven't won the league. Manchester United have lost the league. That lot, Leeds United, have not won the league. Manchester United have lost the league. So in Chappie's living room, I go flippantly, says, oh, fucking hell. Big Red Nose as gracious as ever in defeat. And then back in my ear, Dennis Law said, Gary, Fergie can hear you. For 25 years he blacked me. Fucking Albanian airports, Lithuania fucking hotels, just walked, never gave me a second glance. But then I think the thing epitomising, and Howard will tell you what type of character the fella is. I had a personal tragedy with my family matter. And he was one of the first people to phone and says, listen, anytime you want to come to Old Trafford, anytime you want to come to Carrington to the training ground, be my guest. So when you're competing directly against Ferguson like Howard was, they're like the devil. But once there's a gentleman and there's a bit of a heart in Ferguson, I think that, and Howard would tell you that. But that memory will never go away. Sitting in that sofa, watching Fergie just losing it. I just got to remind him, we did win the league that year.
This is Mark here. Tony Fly, let's bring you in. I mean, your memories at that time as well. Special season. We know when we got beat at Man City, we lost 4-0. You're thinking, oh, it's going to all go pear-shaped, but it all came out in the wash in the end due to the gaffer.
Yeah, it certainly did. I think we always were kept on a level keel. I think we never looked too far forward, and the Man City game kind of came and gone. We learned from it and just approached the next game. And when Macca was on the TV there, I was actually heading down to join England. We were off to play Russia. I think me and Bats were chosen. And after the game, I'm watching these guys on telly. I then get a phone call from the gaffer, who, I must admit, he was pissed. Not in an angry way either. He was happily pissed. And he said to me, you really don't have to go with England. The England manager won't hold it against you. If you want to stay and celebrate with the team, you're more than welcome. So I said, great, I'm on my way back up to Leeds. So I jumped in the car. I was going 90 mile an hour down this dual carriageway, and I got pulled over by a copper, which was a bloody nightmare. I get off, and this guy suddenly recognises me, and he was so delighted to give me 3 points. I'm going, because of course he was a Manchester United supporter, and I've gone, that's another bloody 3 points I've got because we won the freaking title. There you go. I couldn't give a shit. I ended up going back and having a great week celebrating. But that year, the things we experienced together, are really, really special. And you look back over your career at those moments. And I think us as a club, so 1919, we're over 100 odd years. The important eras, the important people that really shaped this club, and there's no doubt that he is right up there, with the best of those. So I'm looking forward to what is to come. I'm looking forward to getting that statue up, and forever and a day, we'll know what this great man did for everyone.
That was brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation to the lads of the fantastic Tony Dorigo, Noel Whelan, and